Wash the dishes and put your things away. Why do you always nag me? Hi everyone, it's Scott here from That's English School. Verb power times 4. 4つの動詞を紹介します。動詞大好きです。なぜかわからないのですか？なんとなく新しい日本語の動詞を発見するとワクワクします。そんな経験ありませんか？例えば nag という動詞。聞いたことがありますか？面白くないですか？ nag。さあ、意味が何なんでしょうかね？楽しみですね。Okay, enough of my chit chat. Let's move on to the first verb. The first verb is vouch. 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 Here's the meaning in Japanese. When someone uses their experience or knowledge to say that something is true. It's like a cross between promise and guarantee. Vouch for my good friend. Vouch that something is true. Vouch for a product or a service. Perhaps you've heard of a voucher. 割引券. It means that we have to believe what it says on the voucher. It promises you can get a discount. As a medical examiner, I can vouch from my experience that his death was accidental. So in this case, we're using vouch, meaning using my experience, I can almost guarantee, I can almost say 100% that this is the case. I can vouch from my experience. I can't vouch for this hotel, but it looked wonderful in the brochure. So if you can't vouch for something, it means you can't promise it's 100% true because you never actually experienced yourself. So I can't vouch in this case. Here's a real-life quote from Dr. Jane Goodall, an English primatologist and anthropologist, the world's foremost expert on chimpanzees. There are many people out there, me being one of them, who can vouch that animals have feelings. They feel compassion and love as well as pain. The second one is nag. 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 This is what it means in Japanese. A person who nags goes on and on and on, complaining about the same thing. And it's only a one-way thing. It's a very negative verb that's never used in a good way. In most cases, it's used by a husband talking about his wife. Bit of a dangerous area here. But it can also be used the other way around too. Mothers nag their kids. Husbands nag their wives. Bosses nag their workers. He couldn't cope with his wife's nagging anymore and filed for a divorce. So you can imagine the situation. His wife was nagging and nagging and nagging, and he had had enough. He had had it up to here. And I guess it was time to say bye-bye. Her husband nagged her into losing weight, and she's running in the New York City Marathon next month. So that's kind of a positive story, but he nagged her into losing weight. Maybe every day he said, "Oh, are you having cake again? Are you having this again?" He was nag, nag, nag. But eventually, she lost weight. And here's a real-life quote from the British actress Judi Dench. You may have seen her as M in the 007 James Bond movies. Some things you know about. You know what the ingredients are, maybe not all of them, but it's up to you to put in the amount. It's up to the director to nag you until you get it right. Hey, Dave, do you remember my friend Steve? Is that guy that's always nagging you to stop drinking so much? Yeah, that's him. But he doesn't nag all the time. He's a good guy. I'll take your word for it. Anyway, he's looking for a new job, and you're looking for a new sales guy. I'd vouch for him any day of the week. Vouch for him. What does that even mean? You know, vouch for him, like to tell potential employers that he's a great worker and that they should hire him. And why should I believe you? Because you trust me. We're friends. All right, because friendship automatically makes someone a good worker. Okay, I see your point, but seriously, he's a really hard worker and very qualified for the job. I wouldn't vouch for him if he weren't. Well, I guess we could all grab a coffee or something. Set up a meeting. Great! I'll hit him up right now. The third verb is reminisce. 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 Let's check the meaning in Japanese. This is a lovely verb with such a warm feeling about it. If you get together with your friends from your school days or with people you haven't seen in a while, this is the perfect verb. You can reminisce about people who have passed away, adventures that you had, funny things that happened, or just the good old days. It can be used just on its own, but it's often used with about. You reminisce about something. When my relatives all get together, we reminisce about the parties we used to have when we were younger. So you can imagine the situation, all the relatives are there and they're talking about the good old days. You remember that time? I remember when you were just a kid. Everybody is reminiscing. When I saw a TV show about Paris the other day, I reminisced about the time I spent in Europe. So you can also reminisce just by yourself, looking at photographs or by watching a TV show. Just in your head, you can reminisce. I remember the time when I was walking through the streets of Paris with a baguette and a big piece of cheese. I have no idea what I'm talking about. Let's have a quote from one of the most famous pop stars in history, John Lennon. People keep talking about it like it's the end of the earth. It's only a rock group that split up. It's nothing important. You know, you have all the old records there if you want to reminisce. The next verb is skyrocket. 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 In Japanese, you'd say, this is used when you're talking about a very sudden rise in prices, sales, or data. Imagine a rocket lifting off. Wow, look at that. It's quite something, isn't it? Yeah, so it goes way up into the sky. It's skyrocketing. We often hear skyrocket with the stock market, the prices of raw materials, the cost of living. It's also used for success. If someone's career started to skyrocket, it means they became famous very quickly. No. The prices of daily commodities, electricity and gas has skyrocketed since Russia invaded Ukraine. We can only pray that it ends as soon as possible, yeah? Robert Downey Jr. saw his popularity skyrocket after he appeared in the Iron Man series. So before the Iron Man series, he had a bit of a tough time. He had some good movies, some not so good movies. But when he did the Iron Man movie, his career just skyrocketed. He suddenly became one of the biggest stars on the planet. Next up is a real-life quote from Fred Upton, an American politician. If the EPA continues unabated, jobs will be shipped to China and India as energy costs skyrocket. Most of the media attention has focused on the EPA's efforts to regulate climate change emissions. But that is just the beginning. I was talking with my neighbor Atsushi last night. Oh yeah, I think I remember him. He was a little bit older than you, right? Yeah, he's retired, but he used to be quite the businessman. He made a lot of money in real estate. Nice. So, what kind of stuff do you guys usually talk about? He loves to reminisce about the bubble years in Japan. When he was in his prime, you know. Champagne parties in Ginza, holiday homes in Hawaii, you know, that kind of thing. I guess that must have been from the mid-80s to the early 90s. From 1985 to 1990, according to Atsushi. So it's funny, he was reminiscing about how stock prices just skyrocketed. Wow, what a time to be an investor. I hear the Nikkei stock index hit 40,000 yen at its peak. Well, they skyrocketed, but they plummeted just as fast. It hit the banks, stock prices, and real estate really bad. It's starting to sound more like a nightmare than just plain old reminiscing. Yeah, but it must have been exciting times though. Do you want to learn some more verbs? Well, click over here. This is the previous video to this one, and it also introduces 4 verbs, which are scrutinize, flourish, marvel, and insinuate. It's super useful, so I'll see you over there. Let's go.